Evening, everyone, and welcome to tonight's episode of Ask Leah. Tonight's question comes from a business owner who has a relatively young business, employs a small team, and one of the members of the team does some amazing work but has what the owner describes as a big personality that ruffles some feathers. Now, the owner has tried to address the behavioral issues a few times with this person, but the person gets defensive, goes into blame mode, denies they've done something wrong, and really tries to justify their behavior. So the leader has thought perhaps we'll do some personality profiling to understand each other better. But this person with the big personality isn't interested in doing that at all. And the owners contacted me to say, any ideas what we can do? So a few things here. First off, if this person's behavior is unacceptable, out of line, you do have to address that one-on-one with them. It is challenging when they lack self-awareness. And this is the thing, right? You can't make someone be self-aware. You can't make someone change their behavior. But what you can do is hold them accountable for it. Something that I have been banging on about a lot lately is the fact that behavior is part of performance. It is not separate to performance. So why I want to stress that is because you said to me, they do some amazing work, but they've got a big personality. Now, I want to explore a bit more there that looks like. Is it that they're actually behaving in an inappropriate way, or have you just got personality differences within the teams? If you've got some quiet people and someone with a big personality, it's not necessarily that the big personality person is doing something wrong. So that's a different kettle of fish compared to if they're actually behaving in an aggressive or rude and abrupt way. When you describe the ruffling of feathers. So that's where I'd first go. Now, in terms of better understanding each other and how you like to communicate, how you like to be communicated with, if you as the business owner are running something like that with your team, people don't get to opt in and out of that. That's actually a requirement because you're driving that as the business owner. So one of the things to reflect on here is the sort of culture you're trying to create, because the damage, if you leave poor behavior unchecked, as you point out in your message to me, the risk is the other good people leave. So you've got to address this. Aside from having the conversations with this person as an individual, if you have not already done this, and there's a whole piece on this in my new book, Steer Through the Storm, you need to set shared expectations for your team. But that, when I say set shared expectations, I don't mean you as the leader coming down from on high to set your shared expectations. I'm saying as a team, develop shared expectations for what do we want the experience of working at this company to be like. Yep, we're all different, got different approaches, but what are some shared expectations for behavior? And what does that look like in practice? Now, those of you who have done sessions with me recently know I just bang on and ask that question again and again until you can name it. Don't give me we treat each other with respect. What does respect look like? Okay, cool. In practice, what does that look like? What would that look like in a meeting? What would that look like if we had a disagreement? Okay. And you want to have this discussion as a team and really get that clarity that although you have different styles, what are those baseline expectations that we live by? And I don't want a shopping list. 3 to 6. What are those core behaviors that we all agree to live by? Because it's really hard to hold someone accountable for poor behavior if you haven't set the expectation for what good behavior looks like. If you do that work together as a team, again, this isn't opt-in or opt-out work. And if this person is saying, nah, I am not having a bar of it, I'm not being involved in developing shared expectations for the team or talking about how we behave in the workplace, I would suggest that regardless of how good they are at their job, you really consider whether you want that sort of person on your team. Behavior is part of performance. It's not opt in and opt out, has the biggest impact on culture of anything else. So I'm not saying do that work and not have the one-on-one conversation with the person. It's still important to have the one-on-one conversation, but it sounds like both of these things need to happen. Explain the why. Why should this person care? Why should they care about their behavior and the impact it's having? Again, you can't make them be self-aware. You can't make them be open-minded. What you can do is let them know what's okay and what's not okay. I am so happy to have a further conversation with you about this one, but I hope that has given you some food for thought. If you've got a communication, leadership, self-management, people problem question you'd like answered, send it through and I'll do my best to answer it for you next week. Cheers.